Welcome to Basscast Radio, bringing you the best in local and national news in bass fishing, as well as interviews with some of the best anglers from all over the U.S. With your host, Brian Carter, and Hank the Bass Geek. Sponsored by Wild Wear America, Z-Bait Company, Missile Baits, Battleborn Batteries, Conrad Brothers Marine, Taylor Man's Custom Lures, Vertical Lures, and Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range.
All right, guys, we are back with another great episode of Basscast Radio. And I think our guest is trying to pop in already. He's excited and ready to go, Basky.
Hey, man, I am too. Ready to talk to Mr. Abram. You know, he's from my neck of the woods, so be exciting to get to chat with him.
Yeah, guys, if you guys didn't already hear or see, Jason won the tackle warehouse on Lake Eufaula this past weekend. Won it by 1 ounce, a little over an ounce. A pound and an ounce, what it was, and he took home $105,000. So congratulations to him on that. But let's see if he's coming in here real quick. All right, so as you guys see, we got Jason Abrams tonight, our guest right here on Basscast Radio. And we're going to talk about his big win on Lake Eufaula. What is up, brother?
Nothing, dude. You know, I've had a fun week. I've had a fun past week. You know, it's been a lot of interviews, been a lot of talking about Eufaula. It's been a lot of fun.
Congratulations.
Now, this is your second win, right? You won on Martin too.
Yeah, you know, it's been really good in the last 14 months. You know, I pretty much had 2 wins, so it's been fun. State of Alabama's been really, really good to me. I really enjoy the state of Alabama. You don't hear that much from a Tennessee guy.
I was going to say, I know a Tennessee guy. I didn't just say that out loud.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm looking more. Maybe Roll Tide might be coming up this way.
Oh! I just know a bunch of fans. You lost, man.
I didn't say I was going that way. I said maybe looking that way.
No, you're from my neck of the woods. You're from over in Piney Flats. I'm a Virginia boy, just across the border from Kingsport into
That's right.
the Gate City area. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, Gate City. You can say Virginia, but you know that's pretty much that's right here in East Tennessee.
We're kind of a suburb of Tennessee.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's the same group of people, same kind of community over there that, you know, right here where I'm at.
You know, we're fishing the same lakes, so.
That same lakes all the time. You know, you're going to Cherokee, Douglas, Norris.
Yes, sir.
An occasional Watauga when it's good.
South Holston is kind of South Holston and Cherokee, kind of my home lakes where I grew up.
You know, South Holston's fishing really, really good right now. If you've not been up this way, South Holston is fishing really good right now.
Just got done fishing the Morristown Marine up there myself. So
how'd you do?
We did all right. I do a YouTube channel, so those videos haven't come out yet. Just dropped.
You don't want to spoil it.
Today. No, I don't want to spoil it. So
okay, got you.
I didn't do as well as you. I'll give that much of a score.
I didn't do well as you. In this sport, you're gonna take way more beatings than you do wins. That's a fact.
Amen, brother. Amen.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. All right, so talk about. Let's start at the beginning of this event here. How did practice go, man?
You know, practice was day 1 of practice. I went down the lake. You know, I made up my mind before this tournament that I was not fishing deep. You know, the last 2 tournaments I fished deep, didn't do real well deep. I'm more of a shallow water kind of guy. Okay. I went down the lake though, and on day 1, I fished a lot of docks. You know, there's a lot of them 10 or 12 inchers, you know, just biting. I mean, you could catch them, but a good fish was hard to come by. And 6:30, right at dark, I found one lay down. Actually, I was on my way back to the ramp, seen one lay down, stop, flip a white jig in it. I caught a 4-pounder on day 1. So, day 2, you don't do no good down the lake. You're going up the lake the next day. Day 2 started out of practice. First tree I pull up to, one walks out of the tree with a jig. You can tell what size they are on a jig usually. And I fished 2 or 3 trees, had a bite out of every tree.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but then I'm thinking, okay, what if they ain't as good as fishing I'm thinking they are? So I grabbed the other rod out, actually got a hook in it, and I stick the next fish. It's like probably the 4th or 5th tree. I've had 4 or 5 bites. I stick the next one. It's between 6 and 7 pounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly what I did. Exactly what I did. And I was like, oh, that's a good one.
You're kind of happy. You kind of happy you caught it, and then at the same time you feel bad because now it probably ain't gonna bite again.
That's what goes through your mind. You're like, man, I shouldn't have stuck that fish. But you wanted to know. To make sure. So I put that rod back up, got the practice jig back out, and run. I think I run 3 more trees, and then now the next 3 trees, I was swimming that white jig along it, and the next 2 bites I seen both of the next 2 bites, and they were in the 4 to 5 pound class range. At that point, I knew I was where I needed to be. I knew what I had, and I thought I could do really well. So I pretty much put all the rods up. I rode up the right side of that river just as far as you could go, turn around and come down the left side, and marked everything that I thought was going to be right.
Right.
It ended up being right, and, did really well with it.
So did you spend most of your time up the river, or did you do a lot?
I spent every minute of my time up the river. After that, all 4 days of the tournament, I was from Cowicky Creek up about 25 miles.
Oh, wow. Lots of running there.
Yeah, lots. I did more running than I actually did fishing. I did way more running than I actually did fishing. I probably fished 3, maybe 3.5 hours total a day. I did way more running than I did fishing. I averaged about 40 to 44 gallons of fuel a day is what I was burning.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Now you down there, I know they're ahead of us as far as season will go. Do you think with the white jig that there might have been a shad spawn going on? Is that kind of?
There was definitely a shad spawn going on. And the difference was, where we launch at 6:30, a lot of these big tournaments, we don't get to launch at daylight, or, they hold us to make sure everything's good and safe.
Yeah.
And, that's part of this gig is, they're always going to err on the side of safety anymore, which is okay. That's good for everybody in this sport. There was definitely a shad spawn going on, but the problem is where we was launching at 6:30, if you was like me, boat, whatever, 80, 60, 80, you got there, you're talking an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes after daylight down that way.
Yeah.
So the shad spawn, a lot of the guys were losing a shad spawn in 15 minutes, 20 at the most. The river and the current and the overhangs, it was extending that shad spawn by about an hour. And that was really the key thing for me.
And most of the time on the shad spawn, when they get on that wood like that, they're not going to leave that area just because the shad pull off the bank. They're going to.
Exactly. They're there. They're just not as active.
Exactly.
Them big females just sink down in them trees and lay there. They got a buffet above them. They don't need to go nowhere. They're laying. They're out of the current. They're hiding in them trees. They're out of the current. They got food. They ain't going nowhere. You just got to get the jig a little bit deeper. Try to provoke a reaction strike out of them sometimes after the shad, quit flickering and stuff. Provoke a reaction strike out of them, and they're still there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
were you that retrieve? Were you giving it the old Alabama shake, or did you just kind of throw it out there?
I'm doing that East Tennessee, pop. Exactly. 2 hard pops. Let it sink a good foot or 2 hard 2 pops. That's something we do up in this area.
Yes,
Outside of this area, everybody else is at quick rod tip, and that's me and you being from this part of the country fishing deep. Our lakes 200 foot, a lot of them. So it's something we've learned to do here, and transition good there.
I've made the joke around here, growing up reading Bassmaster magazines, and you hear people like, find those 45-degree banks, and I'm like, they're all 45-degree. What are you talking about?
If we got a 45-degree bank this way, that's shallow. Ours are.
Yeah, that's a flat. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just worked out really good. I mean, it just worked out really good for me.
Good deal.
All right, let's talk about day one. You end up okay. So here you go, real quick. 66.4. You won this thing by a little over a pound.
Yep.
I mean, how much closer can you get?
Too close.
Yes, too close.
Yeah, that was too close.
So break us down day one for you.
Day one, I launched boat 60 something. I forget the exact number, but 60 something. I was due back in at 4 o'clock. Day one, first tree I pull up to, third cast, I catch a 6.6. That was the big fish on day one. About maybe 5 or 6 casts later, I catch one about 5. So, I got 11, 12 pounds in the boat really, really quick. I start running really, really quick, my key thing on this whole thing, it was every day there was a different tree that was active. It was never the same. I never caught that big group of fish out of the same tree each day. They would be a shad spawn in this tree or that tree. So luckily on day one, the very first tree I pulled up into was the tree that day.
Oh, wow.
And so, that helped. But it also cued me in on that, if it wasn't the right tree, I needed to move quickly. And so I caught a 6.6, a 5 real quick. I started jumping trees and, by, I don't know, 9:30, I had 18 pounds.
Wow.
But from 9:30 to 2 o'clock, it just died. I mean, it died. And every day, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, it would just completely die. There wasn't a bite to be had. And you can watch it on live. Everybody, it just started struggling. Now, around 2 o'clock every day, there was a bite that started again. And at like 2:30 on day one, I called like a 2-pounder out for 4.5 and, put me right at that 20-pound mark.
Right. That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, you catch a 6.6 in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're pretty excited.
Yeah,
you're jacked, and it's going right that day.
All right, so that tree, were you running your side scan imaging, or what were running down, or were you just going by what you found in practice?
Everything that I found in practice, basically, I was looking at the RNC map, and you could see when you dial in their colors, you can really see the hardest part of them bends. Everything I caught, everything I did was in hard channel swing bends. And when I would go down them channel swing bends, I was looking for the deepest tree in the channel. Whatever tree stuck out the furthest and had the deepest water in front of it. Because every day in practice, and even the week leading up to it, the water was dropping 6 or 8 inches every day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And, so by the time of the first day of practice to the last day of the tournament, we lost 24 inches of water.
Good gosh.
So I was watching that trend for 3 or 4 days before getting there, and just fishing and knowing a little bit. I picked out the tree that I thought was going to be the best on East Channel Swing Bend, and luckily, a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of luck, that pattern held true, and the biggest fish were in the deepest trees in the channel swings.
Were you spending? Was there a lot of traffic where you were, or were you by yourself?
On day one, there was a few boats up the river, but on day one, I seen Bobby Lane quite often. I seen Skeet Reese. I seen Cole Floyd. I seen myself was up there. So when you come in and you see the weights on day one, you see Skeet's up there. You see Bobby's up there.
Yep.
Cole Floyd's up there.
Yep.
You're like, okay, this is the section of the river that is hot.
Yeah.
And I was there, the top 10 guys, 6 of the top 10, the best I can remember, was in that 18-mile stretch of river, really in about 5 miles stretch of that river.
Yeah, because Bobby led it for a day.
Yeah, Bobby led it, and I think Bobby caught a few of his fish down, but come to the river. I think most of his weight come from that river section on day one, too. So, Bobby had, 20-something on day one and beat me out by a few ounces. But, yeah, so, most of the weight was coming from that section of river.
Right. So going into day two.
Day two was a different story, you know.
Yeah.
Day two, you know, we had a lot of local traffic. Those two local tournaments going out. You know, of course, you know, locals, you know, they have just as much right as we do to be there.
Yep.
Make that for sure, you know. But, you know, with the tournaments coming out too, you got a lot of pressure on the lower end of the lake. A lot of the guys on the lower end, that deep bite didn't, you know, it didn't show up on day one. So you had a lot of the guys from the lower end of the lake swap into the lakes, which, you know, we would all do in the same situation. Yeah. So, you know, nothing, not taking anything, but, you know, that's just, so you got a lot more traffic coming up the lake from the guys that didn't catch them on day one, and you got a lot of local pressure coming. So out of the 19 or 20 key trees that I had, I didn't get to fish probably half of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was just that deal, you know, half of them just, you would go to them and they would be, not so much they was fishing them trees, they were just fishing that bank, and I couldn't get to where I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So was there any sort of adjustment you made from day one to day two?
No, I just, I did a lot more running, you know. I didn't really, it did affect me. I still had the bites on day two. My weight don't show it, but I had a 5 to the boat twice, and I lost a stick in a tree that I got her head up, but I couldn't get her out. But the 5 I should have caught. The 6, it just come off, and that's part of, you know, flipping. But the 5, you know, that was probably my fault. You know, I did not execute. I had her to the boat twice, and it wasn't meant to be. But instead of getting a stop every, you know, 3 to 5 miles, I might have to skip 3 or 4 of the stops I wanted to make. So there was a lot more running involved in day two than I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, that's a lot of running considering the run that you had to make to get up there. So
that's right. You know, I did, like I said, no kidding when I say I did more driving of a boat than I did fishing. Yeah. But you know, when I would actually stop the fish a tree, the stop wasn't 5 minutes, because if how the current was pushed in there, if they were there, they were set up to eat. Mm-hmm. And if 3 to 5 flips in a tree, I usually got almost every bite I got in a tree come on the first flip. So, I mean, yeah, it wasn't, you didn't really have to fish for them. They let you know real quick if they were there.
You knew they were there. So tell us a little bit about your setup, about the jig that you were using.
The jig I was using was this right here. It's a Craig France 5/8 jig. And I'm going to show you. It's got a pretty good flat section on the back of it. The trailer is just it's Reaction Innovation Spicy Beaver and White Trash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is the jig I caught every fish on in that tournament. The rod was a 7.6 Daiwa Tatula with a Shimano SLX XT reel 8:2 gear ratio with 20-pound Sunline fluorocarbon on it. That I caught every fish on that right there, which I really like. You know, I've caught a lot of fish on Watts Bar and Douglas and every other lake around East Tennessee. That jig I've caught numerous, you know, 20-pound bags on around here.
Yeah.
Do you do anything?
I was surprised you was going that heavy down there. So
well, you know, day 1 and 2, there was not a lot of current, but enough current that.
Oh yeah.
And you know, even though it's a 5/8 jig, because of the size of the head and how it's made, it just don't drop like a rock. Mm-hmm. It's got even though it's big and wide, that's got a lot. And that's got a lot of thump to it. So it holds it in the water column good. And it was a big profile in a lot of them trees. And even on day 3, I think they were a lot of crappie in them trees. So I later in the day, and I think some of them big ones were actually eating crappie too. And that big profile really, I think, was what triggered the bigger bite for me.
Nice.
All right, day 3. Day 3, you had 18.11. And then day 4, you came back with 14.01. What's your thoughts going into the final day, man?
Going into the final day, I really thought I needed 18 pounds to seal the deal.
Yeah.
I thought 16 would give me a shot at it. But you're looking at, you know, you was looking at Trevor's weights, and it was 15 for him on day 1, 17, then 20. His weights were getting better. And by then, you know, people were talking. I know Trevor's down the lake fishing deep. You know, I know my water's dropping out. It's dropped 20 some inches by now. Everything about it says the deep bite's coming on, the shallow bite's dying.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was in my head. There's no doubt. I thought I needed 16 to have a chance, 18 to seal it, I thought, or to give me a realistic chance to win. And then, you know, when I only come in with 14, I really and truly, I thought I was going to finish second or third. I really did. I just didn't think, you know, I knew it was tough. They was running no current. The only saving grace for me is, I believe, is they didn't run current. You know, and I was lucky on day 4 that I caught a almost 6-pounder in the first 5 minutes on day 4.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so, you know, that's right. You know, it was, the camera was zooming in on the shad spawn. The shad spawn was really going on a tree, and I caught almost, it was 5 something. I didn't weigh it, but it was between a 5 and 6 pound class fish that I caught in the first 5 minutes. And then I caught another, you know, 3 pound, like 5 flips later. So, you know, I had almost all of my weight really, really early in that tournament, or on day 4. I had most of my weight early. I had 5 bites, and I only called one time. I had 1 bite on day 4 late in the day that I called out a 14-incher for a 2.5 pounder. Ultimately, that 2.5 pounder won me that tournament, and that call come late in the day. So it was one of them things, you know, I had a strong pattern. It was probably a dying pattern.
Yes.
It held up just long enough to pull it out.
Yeah, I was sitting there reading the results. Mitch Crane had 14.06, and you had 14.01 the final day, and a lot of them like 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 9. I mean, what do you think? What do you think changed for everybody?
Yeah, day 4. Well, they cut the current off. There was zero current. There was 0 current, 0 wind. And I, you know, we fish a lot of current up here, you know, and y'all know that Tennessee River, if they ain't pulling current, it gets really tough. And apparently, you know, that's a lot of Eufaula too, is they need the current too. And on the weekends, you know, a lot of times you don't get the current.
Yep.
So it was tough on everybody. You know, I had just enough to hold them off. I mean, that's plain and simple. I got a key bite in the morning that put me up there and give me the confidence that just keep throwing that jig. If I didn't have 5 in the boat, maybe I don't throw it all day. Maybe I try to change up. But yeah, I was pretty set that I was going to catch them on that white jig.
And you did, man. I mean, it's, you know, there's days it's your day, and it was obviously, you know, especially when you told us after day 2 that you lost a 5 and a 6. I mean, it's the right time for you, brother.
It was the right time, you know, as shad's fun going on. I've caught a lot of big fish around here on that same setup. That particular setup is probably one of the things I have the most confidence in fishing. I mean, when I can get that setup going, I know I'm only fishing for 6 or 7 bites, but also know the percentage of landing them is very good, and it's the right ones that'll bite it. So it's just a lot of knowledge that I've had over the years fishing that probably carried me through that tournament, that I know if I can get that going, it's going to be the right ones.
Yeah, I threw that on South Holston the other day and could not get a bite. It was a spinnerbait kind of day. I don't know what was going on. The watercolor is really weird.
That's what's going on up here. You know, you have that algae bloom going on Holston.
That's what I was thinking. It was an algae.
You know, it reduces visibility, so you need maybe a little bit more vibration. Shad spawn's going on, but you need a little bit. They're higher in the water column right now because of that over there.
But, you know, we ended up actually, and a lot of people, because everywhere you've seen, and so I'm about to give stuff away right now. Where we ended up catching all of our fish were in that 15 to 18 foot range. And, you know, and what we discovered, well, my partner, he was throwing a bait that was really natural. So I don't think that algae bloom went down very deep.
And it very well may not, you know, and they may be below it and sitting there just eating, you know, and that's right.
Yeah, because I picked up the old, electric blue Chartreuse Kitech and the sexy shad, and man, they wouldn't touch it. Picked up Tennessee shad and caught a 4 pounder. So,
well, you know, Tennessee shad is hard to beat. I mean, shad is hard to beat.
But man, we're happy for you. I know I seen Watson's posted. I didn't get to see it. You know, big shout out to Watson's Marine up there too. I seen them post where you had won. So
you know, Watson's Marine had a really good tournament show in there. You know,
yeah,
my boat and David. You know, they do David's boat too. So
Yep,
you know,
yep.
Watson's Marine basically had boat 1 and 2 in that tournament. That's pretty strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, there is no better dealership in anywhere in the country, and we all know that anybody around here knows Aaron and the gang and Rex up there.
Amen.
They're gold, dude. They're gold.
Yep. Amen.
That's awesome. All right, before you go, we always have a final question, and the question is, what was your takeaway from this event? What did you learn from this event that would help you maybe the next event?
Confidence. You know, that's when you get to right bite and you know you got to right bite, even though it is a really, really tough bite, confidence, stay with what you know, stay with what's working. It's easy to get sidetracked and get off, but you know, stay confident in what you're doing. If you know you had the right bites or you're confident in a bait, confidence is a lot of things. A bait will work better if you're confident in that bait.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that I think that's the biggest thing that I could say is confidence in knowing that you got the right bait in your hand.
All right, what's next for Jason? Where are you going? What's happening?
I'm leaving in the morning, going to St. Lawrence River to practice for a BPT tournament. So that'll be fun. You know, I like that format. It's gonna be fun. We go up there. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna get up there probably Friday morning because it's about a 14-hour drive from here.
Good goal.
So I'll get up there and practice for it until Monday. Drop back down on Monday, go to Potomac River and practice for a few days, and come back home. And the next tournament is June 24th for me up at St. Lawrence River on a BPT. Or no, I take that back. I think we got a Potomac River, then a BPT, or vice versa. But yeah,
right.
But I got roughly 2 tournaments at St. Lawrence River and 1 left at Potomac, and I'm looking forward. The St. Lawrence River's got a lot of big smallmouth. That's going to be a fun tournament. You know, it's a lot of fun going up north. You know, one ounce of will be 20 places. So
yeah,
you got to run your game up there. Potomac River, I love being at Potomac River a lot of times.
Yeah.
I like the Potomac. It's shallow. It's fun. A lot of grass. Good. You know, I really enjoy going to Potomac River. So that's my three tournaments. That's the last 3 I got this year. Can't wait to get to them.
All right, brother, before you go, you got any sponsors you'd like to plug?
Dude, you know, absolutely. Watson's Marine. Everybody in East Tennessee knows about Watson's Marine, that they speak for themselves. This year, you know, I come on board with Camus Boats. Earl Bentz gave me my very first pro staff deal through Watson's Marine when I was 18 years old on a Triton boat. First pro staff deal. I run other brands there for a long time. I'm really glad to be back with Earl. I'm glad to be back with a boat builder in the state of Tennessee. Mercury Marine, you know, I roughly made almost 70 stops a day because all them spots I were fishing in 20 trees, I run each one of them almost 5-6 times a day. So my Mercury, you know, I cranked that motor probably 200, 300 times in 4 days.
Good gosh.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's more start and stop times on a motor than most people put on them in 3 years, probably. So that thing really performed. It was great. Power poles, you know, there's a few of them that I could anchor down above stream. Power poles hold you. Reaction Innovation. If you look at my career, when Reactions Innovations believed in me and I got in with Reaction Innovation, my career skyrocketed. Now, a lot of that is I have confidence in their products. I put their products in my hand a whole lot. Don't lay them down. Last year, Lake Martin, Skinny Dipper won me a tournament. This year, you know, Spicy Beaver won me a tournament. Since that Spicy Beaver has hit the market, I've had a 3rd place at Okeechobee. I had 11th place at Seminole, and now I got a 1st place at Lake Eufaula. If you've not tried a Spicy Beaver, okay.
They're
That's
nice.
all.
They're good stuff.
That is a huge mistake on your part, is all I can tell you. There's a lot of imitations starting to come out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody copied it yet that is good as it is. You know, You look at, a lot of people talk about hummingbird and Lake Master chips. You need to invest, and you need to go look at a CMAP chip by Lawrence. Lawrence took it upon themselves to make a better product, and they absolutely. The new CMAP chips by Lawrence's are absolutely fantastic. Go to Douglas with it. Go to Chickamauga with it. Go to Chickamauga, and your mind will be blown what you see with the CMAP chip.
Wow.
It is unbelievable. There's stuff, there's things that Chickamauga that I've held very tight-lipped for a long, long time. Unfortunately, CMAP shows them to everybody. But if you've not looked at a CMAP chip in Tennessee, dude, Douglas, you have no idea what you're missing until you put a CMAP in and go look at it. And when guys do it, they're like, man, I wish I'd have did this earlier. I'm just telling you right now, you need to take a chance to look at it.
Wow.
But that's the spill, dude. I mean, that's it. Them with all of them and every bit of that work that you follow for me, it was being able to run the channel swings with that CMAP. It was the reactions baits, they called them. It was the mercury motor, the Camus. This boat, camera guy, 2 live wells full, the boat still runs 74.3 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
That is a running machine, dude.
Yes, sir.
That is a running machine right there. But guys, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, man.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Anytime, anything I can do, anybody in East Tennessee, anybody in the fishing community, if I can ever help anybody, reach out. Happy to do so.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you much.
All right, guys, man, that was great. I mean, Jason was
great.
Awesome, dude. I want to thank him for coming on tonight's show. Hope you guys learned a little bit. That's always the main key. And congratulations to him on another big win.
Yeah, that's it's always nice. Like I said, I'm down from the Tri-Cities, Northeast Tennessee area, so it's always good to have a hometown boy do well.
Oh yeah, taking home a big old potload of money, $105,000. That'll pay some bills and entry fees. And
I got to talk to him. I got to finish the deck, so I was going to see if he'd give me a low interest loan.
Good gosh. Price of wood, that's what it's going to take.
Phew, I know.
Well, guys, man, like I said, we appreciate Jason for being on. We want to thank everyone for making this show possible. There's all our sponsors. If you guys haven't checked it out, Angler's Choice, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range, Battleborn Batteries, Conrad Brothers Marine, Wildware America, Missile Baits, and Lisa Lindsay, Associate Broker, down in she's South Boston, but I said Buggs Island, Kerr Lake area. If you guys are looking to buy a house on a lake, give her a call, 434-572-2645. And if you'd like to be a show sponsor, hook us up, give us a chat, give us a call as well, and we'd love to talk to you guys. So Jason was ready to come on. We just got the ball rolling real quick tonight, and we want to thank him for being a part of this show. So
good fun show.
Oh yeah, always. Well, guys, we'll be back in another week. You guys know another Bassmaster Elite event is going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll have a Bassmaster angler to speak with next week. And thank you, guys. All right, boss man, we're going to play an outro. Then we're going to get out of here.
All right.
You've been listening to Basscast Radio, the best in local and national bass fishing news. To listen to more episodes, check us out on all the podcasting networks. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, thebasscast.com, and Basscast News.